I'd like to get the somberness out of the way, and not as a means to rush through it, but it's just been talked about so much. The world has been collectively grieving. Um, One of the more special, and celebrity deaths are always weird because we don't know these people, right? Um,
Feel like you do. But
you feel like you do, and if there were ever one we knew, I'm sorry, who's trumping DMX?
yeah.
If there was ever one we really knew without knowing, it would be X. Um, Earl Simmons, um, an an elite, elite pin, but just one of those people who was sent here to sort of just like be a vessel. And I I I thought I've been thinking about it a lot, and I wanted to ask y'all if talent even matters when you a vessel for real, because it just feels like no matter what he did, he was gonna have that big of an impact on the world.
Completely.
So it's not, forget the rapping, forget the acting. When you sit here and oh, Deal, we got to call Deal in talking about this because I don't know a bigger DMX fan than my brother Dylan, but he and I were talking about it, L, and the conversation about DMX is often his demons.
Mm.
And I was like, yo, that's true. But in spite of all that, fam still managed to have the impact that he did.
Bro,
So
it's crazy.
when it's just like when it's meant for you, it's meant for you kind of thing. Um and and please forgive me. And what's funny, uh we're gonna get to the conversations with nations and salute Brit and that whole squad over there. They just dropped season 2 and premiered with none other than our very own LG, an amazing episode. But I actually just in the comments was like, imagine learning so much about someone you think you know, right? And listening to the conversation, the episode, it was done so well. Ego and programming. Fuck, man, I couldn't think of a better title either.
That was great.
Um, but the conversation was just so rich. I actually had to run it back twice. But I thought about, in the conversation about X and his demons, I thought about that conversation, that episode of the pod, where I it's niggas that work hard, salute to y'all. And it's niggas that's just immensely talented, salute to y'all. Then it's just motherfuckers that's just here to do things. Like to really, really have an impact on people. I don't care what it is. If it's a regular 9 to 5, if it's being outside fucking around, if it's potting, if it's hoop, you name it, no matter what that person does, it's just gonna just leave a lasting impression. And there's and that's not, it's not everybody, but there is also, with that, feels like it comes an exceptional amount of like just the most impossible hurdles that the average person that has no chance of surviving. Like, you take one hurdle and it will ruin most people, but you throw in 30 of them. Throw in, and we're talking about like life altering hurdles. DMX's blunt was laced when he was 14 years old with crack. Now he's an addict for the rest of his life. I don't know how many people could have survived that.
Man.
Just something as simple as having
14 to 50.
Come on, and just having that taken away from you, like to no doing. But that's just the beginning of. That's not even the beginning of his troubles. His mother was beating him. Then sent to live with a boys' home, and this ain't the group homes and the foster homes y'all think of in modern day. This is the worst parts of New York in the late 70s, early 80s. Crack epidemic, crime is through the roof. Like I know everybody thinks we live in this godforsaken, dangerous world. Look at the numbers. It ain't even close. It ain't even close.
Yeah, it's manufactured now. It was actually
It,
Wild Wild
it was
West.
actually some wild shit. So to get sent to live at a boy's home and to have to survive that and survive it, only to have your blunt laced, only you like wait what? And then to still reach the I don't know, bro. I if you had I guess you just had to be there. My little sister made the greatest point. She's like, I wasn't old enough to remember what the fuck DMX had going on for real, but she's like, I remember y'all reaction to him, and I told that story on the radio show. I the last time I got in like trouble was was ordering $150 worth of Get At Me Dog on the box, and the
Shout out
number.
to the box, man.
Shout out, come on, man.
That was a great time.
Who
in
don't
history.
remember the box? You could watch any video, and the number popped up. It was enticing, but I had never been moved to actually call because I knew better. For one, you had to have a credit card. You had to have. I knew better. But when Get At Me Dog came on for the first time, fam, I had never seen no shit like that. Never seen anything like it. And then he proceeds to just take shit on one from there and not look back. And we get 2 albums in a calendar year, in 11 months. And like
some people didn't know what songs were on which.
no. It was the most confused. If you didn't have It's Dark and Hell is Hot or Blood Flesh on My Flesh, you were utterly confused about is slipping on this what. And it's like, nah, fam, you just had
That was same year, right?
same year, bro. Same year.
And what was sick was
That's
he came out
tough.
with "How's It Going Down" like right before the second album dropped. So it was like a week.
It went. And it went.
Yeah. So then people were so confused because they was buying "Flesh of My Flesh" thinking "How's It Going Down" is on that album.
Yeah.
And even the label was like, Def Jam at the time was just like, we never seen nothing like this.
This ain't Deluxe time. This is literally I can be a whole nother.
A whole nother project. You know, and that's the type of joy. But the whole point I was making in the comparison is people have a hard time when individuals are so clear on their purpose and their journey and what they've been through. Like when they have a real clear understanding of what they've been through. And if you're an X fan, since the beginning of time, X has been telling you, yo, I hate it here.
Shit. For real.
Since the first time we ever heard X rap, and if you listen to those albums, he's like, yo, yeah, this ain't for me. I'm in pain. I'm being tortured here every day that I had, every extended day. And it wasn't, and that's not, and people cringe at the narrative of like, yo, are you suicidal? Or you like, no, fam, it's just my life is fucked up.
It's
for
a
real.
lot, yeah. Uh-huh.
And I don't know how many of y'all wouldn't check out.
Well, Swiss had a perfect sum up of it.
He did.
From his angle,
He did.
and just like, not only was X dealing with his own pain, but he also took on others' pain in order to clear them of theirs, and he just held it. You know what I mean? And some people just have the shoulders for it. You know, just have the capacity within them to take on the pain. You know what I mean? And just keep going. You know, so what Mani's talking about was amazing, you know, just the summation of it. And as like selfish as everyone is, and you know, sad as everyone is, when it comes to X, man, he couldn't be in a better spot. You know what I mean? Like the freedom. I had to learn a lot about death and be like, man, the freedom within it, you know, and when I got past my own selfishness of it, the freedom of no longer having to deal with a physical realm, physical being, something that is, you know, has a expiration on it, something that has has its limitations. When you're larger than what that limitation is, man, I'm pretty sure that's heavy as hell. So some people, you know, you just need to fly. You know what I mean? And if you cannot train your body to fly physically yet, you know, then what's the best way to fly, bro.
Yeah.
Like, and I'm just glad he's soaring now, man.
Thanks, bro.
I went back and watched the verses with him and Snoop. Just because it was like, I feel like that's one of the times like the world got to see X in his purest form. And then the other thing I did was I went back to all of his albums to listen to his prayers. And when you listen to him, like, it's deeper than just, oh, he's finishing the album with a prayer.
No, yeah.
And after you listen to each one of his albums, I kind of started to think, like, was he saying a prayer? Because he didn't know which album might be his last album.
Yep.
Especially with all the shit that he was going through throughout his life.
Yep.
So it was like, teared up a few times. And like I said, I never knew X, but it was just like you said, the impact. I remember in middle school, one day I go to school and then everybody got dog chains on their neck and is barking and growling. And it was like, I was like, wow,
Yeah.
this is crazy.
Man. I mean, that's really a good amount of like the reservation of popularity and fame for me personally. Is just like there's so like every day is so fucking heavy sometimes, you know. So like to add on top of that what other people want and are fiending for from a gift that you have, and all they know is they want it. You know, like I don't care what you're going through, what you're dealing with, but I need you to go through it because you give me something when you do. You know, and it's a very selfish pull that you're always doing. You're always pulling something from someone, but what are you giving them? You know, and that's a very hard spot to be in. You know, so that's part of my reservation and part of like being out of the light a lot. You know what I mean? Like it's really, I know what my day to day is like. You know what I'm saying? So like it's a matter of like on top of that, you kind of have to disassociate yourself from it or not even have it in the first place. Like, because my thing is always, once you become aware, you can't backpedal out of it. You know what I mean? So you just gain more awareness. It's impossible for you, once you know something, for you to say, oh, I didn't see that, or I don't know that now. You know what I'm saying? So like, it makes it pretty difficult. And I don't want to make it like super heavy like that, but I'm just saying like the amount of weight that actually is truly. I commend people that make it to a high level. You know what I'm saying? And somehow find a way to disassociate yourself. You know, like some people that have the long careers, I finally watched. I finally stayed up to watch it. Coming to America.
That's why you said you would fall asleep and shit.
Bro, I could not get through like the first 20 minutes. I don't know why. It just kept happening. It was just the time that I kept watching it. Like I was watching it at the wrong time. But I finally got through it, and it was just like, fuck, man. We need to be appreciative of this guy, man.
Come on.
We need to be so appreciative of this guy because the way that he put that film together, it was a showcase of talent, of black talent, and it was also as if like he just took a step back and just admired all the talent that was there. He let everybody on that set live, and it was great to see. Like he had his moments where he tapped in or whatever to the character or whatever, but for the most part, it had to do with
everybody else.
Like I was so appreciative of seeing fucking Wesley Snipes be in his element. You know, like you forget how dope Wesley Snipes is. You know what I mean? So like this is a moment to just admire black folks being as free as possible in this moment. Like you just gotta admire that. So Dark Man X, man, we love you, bro.
Yes, absolutely. I hate being this guy. The one that goes, now y'all want to show love. Like it's not conducive to any conversation. However, and you used the perfect the perfect analogy, G, in Eddie Murphy Coming to America 2, where this is only for black folks. Not fuck what white folks is talking about. This is only for black folks. What do we want for real? You want niggas to get on and then put everybody on? Or do you want fail-proof, perfect every time? Because we're celebrating X posthumously. We celebrated it posthumously. We're really, really good at celebrating folks when they're gone. But we're damn good at kicking excellence when it doesn't quote unquote perform to your expectations. And not offering any grace, not giving a damn about no context. G, you made the most brilliant point. This nigga just put niggas on. Okay. He's doing what you've been asking for, and he did it. And he wouldn't got the people that are factors already. He wouldn't got some people that you may not know of, and was like, "Here y'all go, do y'all thing." Did the same thing with the Dolomite film as well.
Mm-hmm. I was gonna say, if you think about it, Eddie's been doing
career.
that
his whole career. So I get it. You want to have you should have did this, my nigga. Keep that. You can always have that. But there's a few people there's a few people that have had impacts in ways that are absolutely you can't even measure them.
Yeah.
And I would say Eddie is one of them. I'd say X is one of them. You know, there are a few people that have hit that gear that just you couldn't relate if you tried. In your wildest dreams, you couldn't fathom what it means to have a bunch of grown ass niggas walking around in two little leather suits. I'm sorry, you don't know what that feels like. Just saying. And so I love how cerebral we are in our critiques. I do. There's a part of that's absolutely fascinating to me. However, I would like us to pick a side. We love them when they go like the outpouring for X when he's. I love it, but everybody had jokes when he was suffering from addiction, and I'm sorry, my vantage point in attachment to addiction has never made that shit funny. It just isn't. And so that was another layer to. Granted, that's not. We don't know that that's what it is. Like, no, there's been no final word. However, that was some of the reports, and so that was another layer that just made it so extremely sad for me when you compound the demons. Luckily, X has and had the faith that he has, so his spirit and conscience were clear. We're not concerned about that at all. But my heart hurts for his family around him because they may not have that same faith, and they also may not have had the same clarity that he had. And when someone has an addiction, the loved ones go through something too that is usually harder for them to grasp if they aren't seeking the proper help and assistance in real time. And sometimes you don't even know, because how are you supposed to know what to do with someone else's addiction? It ain't yours. I had to hold on, let me, because I don't want to jump all over the place. Let me call Deal and let's immediately jump to L's episode with Britt and Conversations with Nations. That shit, man. Let's hit Deal.
Bro, that chili looks horrible. She made some slop and put some peppers on top.
Yep.
What up, man?
What up, man?
Well, you know what it is. It's Lex and Mani. You're on the pod, bro. Don't say nothing that might incriminate you, because your wife definitely listens every Monday. So don't say nothing crazy.
Hey, for the first time on live. What up? What up? What up?
What's up, man?
We
Long overdue.
we are just starting the show, talking about X, and L and Lex have already said some amazing things. But I had to call you. You're the biggest DMX fan that I know. I just we're talking impact. We're talking everything X. So I just had to call you and rap for a brief moment before we moved on.
Yeah, I mean, I think, just me and you talking the last couple of days really made me reflect on it even more. I already knew the kind of impact he had on me, but when the last couple of days really sitting back and looking back on it, it was even bigger than I knew for all these years, right? It's just, I mean, I think that's why everybody's having such a hard time. I mean, it hasn't been very many people that have had that type of impact through music, through music and outside of music. Just in general, his story, his overcoming, his mentality, his passion, man. I mean, I just think we were all able to learn so much from him and what he was able to accomplish, through it all, through everything he had to overcome. I mean, he was just special, man. And I think he's just one of those people that are transcendent, outside of their respective field. Right? It doesn't matter what he would have ended up doing. He was going to touch lives no matter what. He just had that kind of personality, that kind of grit, that kind of strength that just, like I said, man, transcends more than just one genre, of life. I mean, it was just all around. So, yeah, man, I mean, it's been real introspective with X lately. Like I said, man, just being even greater than I realized, what he taught me, even, my first experience listening to him and really, I mean, I was like 10 years old, right? So I just learned so much. I never had anything with that much passion at that point in my life, and I think that's kind of what I got from him, and then just more and more through the years. So,
just for laughs, you said it. Your first time listening to him, what was that experience? Can you paint that picture for the people? I'm sorry, you said it though. I wasn't even gonna ask.
My first time listening to X was riding in the car with Mani and Coco, and 10 years old. Like I texted Coco the other day. I said it was not gospel music that day. And then there was X all day long. And I always laugh because we had that day in the car listening to it all day, and I'm just like stuck all day long listening to this. Like it just, my mind was blown, right? I didn't even know couldn't even wrap my mind around what I was listening to. And then going home, telling my mom, I need that album. I want it. And I was laughing because my mom she would listen to it, play rap music with us. But when I put X on in the car, she was like, "Oh, no. You have to listen to that in your headphones."
Oh man.
So that's it. I got to listen to X in the headphones, not in the car. So Coco let me though.
Oh man, bro, thank you for that. We there was no way we were gonna have an X segment on the show and I not call you just because all the words you just said. So it was right on par too with what everybody said here too. So that's crazy.
All right, man. I appreciate y'all.
Yes,
You
sir.
already know, man. Love you, man. We'll tap in.
Okay.
What?
Love y'all.
All right, man.
All right.
That is hilarious. He text me and my mom that, and I was like, golly, like I couldn't even imagine being the portal for somebody to hear DMX for the first time. It's such a wild thing to think about.
Went on one from there, bro.
What?
Yeah.
Oh man.
Pure energy, man. Pure energy.
X, we love you. Thank you for your contribution.
The only other person that rocked the crowd like that was Mike. Like, that had a crowd the way that he had a crowd, bro.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah.
that, and it connected with so many people.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Thank you, X.
For sure.
And everybody that contributed sonically, Dame Grease, Swiss, like all the producers, the labels, Def Jam, Rough Riders, like there was a lot of a lot of talent that spawned from that sort of just world that X created. I adamantly state that Jay benefited from X, Ja benefited from X, the Locks benefited from X, Eve benefited from
Irv.
X, Swiss, Irv.
Irv said that that first X album was the hardest album he ever had putting together. But he said that album made it so it was possible for any other album that he worked with to get together. Because he was like,
If I did it.
Yeah, if I can do that, then I can do anything.
Yeah. Salute to all of it. I can't imagine how all of them are feeling. Like they come from a very specific time and place where it's like they and hopefully, fuck man, it's another. I had the pleasure of having a meeting with the legendary Tone Capone, producer. I got 5 on it. Looney's 3 times, you name it. But it was like some mafia shit. Like the nigga sent me coordinates of where to meet him at. It was like, I've never been to this place, and he was like waiting in the parking lot for me, and we just went on a walk like some Tony Soprano shit. It was the most it's like I'm either gonna get made or whacked today. Like it was hilarious, and we just went on a walk, and I presented him this idea that I had. We talked about it. He loved it, and then ultimately we start he just start just going in and educating me on shit that I would have never known, right? And it's the same thing with the X store, not just X, but Rockefeller, Rough Riders, Murder Inc., that whole conglomerate, and how connected that all is, and how dependent all three of the entities were for them to all get their deals. Like whoever got their deal first was able to go, well, they got this, we need this, and then the third one was able to go, well, both of them got this, we need this, and the degrees of separation are way more minimal than we can even fathom, and the unity it took for them to get on, and ultimately, like once they got there was tension and some sort of division, but the initial breakthrough was like they did it together. Irv has production credits on both Jay's debut, Ja's debut, and X's debut. Let's not sleep on what that means, right? In some form or fashion, Irv was around for the business of all 3 of those deals as well, right? X makes an appearance on Jay's third. Both of them on Ja's first one. Like it's a lot of dope things, and hopefully that story gets told with the care and the delicacy that it needs.